Start your wellness journey at Whole Foods Market, where it's Jumpstart January through the 16th. Stock up on supplements with some of the year's biggest savings. Plus, save on air-chilled organic boneless skinless chicken breasts, organic Honeycrisp apples, organic large Hass avocados, and more. And since Whole Foods Market is the only certified organic national grocer, it's easy to make them your wellness destination. Jumpstart your January now at Whole Foods Market.
This is Central Texas Living with Ann Harder.
Massimo Di Campli traveled the world after getting his master's degree at a prestigious culinary school in the Abruzzo region of Italy. In a fairy tale-like story, he met Waco native Kristen 4 years ago. They were both on world travels and by chance met at 7 Mile Beach in the Grand Cayman. 5 months later, they married, and I am so excited to welcome them to Central Texas Living, the podcast.
Thank you so much for having us.
Glad you were here and you're rubbing your little tummy because there's a baby on the way.
Baby on the way. Baby boy due at the end of the year.
Excellent. And you have 2 other children, right?
I do. We do a 12-year-old boy, Hudson, and then Grace will be 3 in February.
Beautiful family. I want to talk, though, to Massimo, because you have settled here in Waco and opened a Di Campli's Italian Ristorante, getting things underway just as COVID-19 threw a little bit of a monkey wrench into everything for everybody. But first of all, Massimo, tell me about your life in Italy.
So, born in Italy and went to culinary school, worked couple of years for my dad, which used to own a different restaurant in Italy. Then at the
where in Italy was this?
In Abruzzo.
In Abruzzo, okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's where my family actually still live with all my siblings. And after finish my culinary school, I wanted to work and learn even more. And that's when my dad actually asked me to leave Italy and see the world. That's the beauty of the restaurant business. You're able to travel and work at the same time. So I was blessed to travel in different countries, meet amazing people, and then end up in Waco 4 years ago.
We're glad you did. And I'll get more into that in a little bit. But first of all, your culinary training, I understand you graduated from the same school your dad went to. So this truly is a family business.
Yes, and we actually shared the same principle. When my dad graduated, it was the second year for the principal that graduated me after, it was maybe about 15 years after that. Culinary school in Italy are... the first couple of years, they are introducing you to this industry. So you are learning everything from cooking, serving, and managing business. And then at the end of your second year, that's where you make your decision of like what you want to do when you're older. So I did management, but also I took extra class on cooking because I didn't know what to pick. So I was able to do both, and then helped me definitely, to have a little bit more experience. Definitely on the restaurant industry, you build experience while you're working. You for sure you need to have some foundation, and that's where the culinary school plays its part, and teaching you the basic of this beautiful industry.
So your dad, with his blessing, you left home, but you've really truly traveled the world and worked in lots of different locales. Let's talk about your experience in Dubai.
Well, the experience in Dubai was really different because you're gonna work where religion is different, the law is different. Like the normal life you have here is not the same over there, and it was hard at first, but with all the people we met with all this different background, we were able to make it special, where we were able to have good time, work, and also understand life better. I think when you meet people with different background, you're able to see the world in a different way, and you definitely appreciate what you have instead of wishing what you don't have. And that was definitely a big blessing, because being away from your family when you're 20 and you don't even speak I mean, back then I was able maybe to speak 40 or 50 different words in English, so it was a little hard, but again, with all those many people, we were able to make it special, and we create our own family. With that said, in Dubai was almost 10 years ago. Myself with 3 other guys that we met there just because we were sharing the same apartment. We were able to travel together until almost we all got married. And I'm here in Waco, and another guy is actually in LA. Another guy is back in Italy due to COVID, actually, which is sad.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess my impression of Dubai is that it's kind of cosmopolitan in a way. So were these Italian? Was this an Italian restaurant you were working at, or was it just European cuisine, or what?
Well, it was an Italian restaurant. That is actually they opened their first place back in 1926 in Venice. It's called Florian Restaurant and Cafe. It's really an historic place to go. Many people went there, from presidents to like regular people. And then they opened this location in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And I was in Italy, and they asked me if I wanted to go there and help them, on supervising. And I was like, well, I'm not going to say no to Dubai. But yes, that's how everything started.
Oh, well. So from Dubai, you went where? Is that when you went to the Grand Caymans?
So from Dubai, I went back home just for about a month or so. And then, yes, that's when I went to the Grand Cayman, which was another, dream come true, where, I want to travel to the Caribbean, but it's a little bit quite expensive. And then I applied to this job online, and right after maybe a few days, I got an email back saying that they were willing to offer me the job, and called my dad, and I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm leaving, going to the Caribbean. And it was like, well, good for you. My mom was a little bit shocked because she was, hoping for me to stay a little longer, but
yeah, mamas are like that.
Yeah, mamas are like that. I know she's a little bit, sad of having, grandchild so far away, but at the same time, she appreciate that I was able to create my future and have amazing family behind me that, support on what we do, and, they understand.
Well, you mentioned the Grand Cayman being a dream come true, and in more ways than one, because that's where you met Kristen. So tell me that part of the story.
Yes. So I was on a girls' trip. We had actually gone, well, I didn't go the year before, but I went this year, and we were staying just a couple of resorts down from where he lived, and we were on the beach, and he kicked a soccer ball.
Really?
And then the rest is history. So we went to like a birthday dinner, and then we saw each other until we left, and then I didn't really think I would hear from him again, let's be honest, but we did, and I mean, he's easy to fall in love with. My family loves him. It's everything's amazing about him. So so we just, being older, and you just know, and so we just took the leap, and here we are.
Love at first sight, though, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Our first soccer ball kick or whatever.
Something like that.
Something like that. Well, let's talk about your background. You went to Midway and then to Tech, right?
I did. I went to Midway and then on to Tech, and oh goodness, I've lived in Austin a little bit, lived here for 11 years. So work here. My family's here. Most of my family's here. So yeah, I'm Waco at heart. I remember my dad, I was telling my parents about him, and my mom was like, oh, okay, like she wasn't sure. My dad was like, what? He's going to leave there for Waco? And I was like, thanks, Dad. But anyways, it's all worked out, and Waco's been so great for me and my family, and has just really welcomed arms to him. So
That's a great place to call home, for sure.
absolutely.
But for someone who has truly been a globetrotter and traveled the world, what's been the biggest surprise to you about Waco?
Well, definitely. I always saying to my friends that people makes a difference in on the place where you live, and Waco really reminds me my hometown back home,
Really?
where people are really warm. They're truly, genuinely loving you for who you are, and that was surprising in a good way. Like I like after already like day one, because I was coming here to see her for quite a few times before we got married, and everybody were so friendly and welcoming, and it was genuine. They were not doing it because they were friend with Kristen,
Mm-hmm.
but they were doing it because that's how people are here in Texas, I'll say, and that makes everything easier. When you move from one place to another, it is fun, but at the same time it's hard because you always start from zero again, where you start to build friendship and connection and see different place. But Waco made it like so much easier. I love to be here. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen the next 20, 30 years down the road. But I love to be here, and love the fact that the kids can can grow in such an amazing community, and where you feel safe, your neighbor, you establish a relationship with the same people, and that's priceless.
Very well said. Very well said. But what actually brought you to Waco was a connection with Magnolia and Chip and Joanna. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, there was I moved here in October, and then in December I got a job at Magnolia Table as a front of the house manager, and then I actually, after a year or so, I became general manager of the same place until I left for our own dream. Definitely working at Magnolia was really, really good. The fact that they genuinely love their own employees, and there is this vibe of love and magic and being respectful to one another. That's something that I always dreamed when I was young, when I was like, oh, I wish I can find a company where you can just be yourself and just be respectful and be happy to go to work. And they made it happen, and I have learned so much from them on how to relate to other people. They really show you what love means, and that's a lesson in life that I wish everybody can have, so we can be kind to one another, love each other, and just be a good person.
Yeah, I think the success of their show Fixer Upper was because that truly was communicated to the viewer. And I think that's the connection that people have with them. Chip may be goofy and all that kind of stuff, but there was a respect and a love that was clear between these two people in their marriage and in their business. So let's talk now about the dream that you had, and that's to open a restaurant. And of course, my years in news reporting, that building that had been there in that block. I mean, you're shaking your, Kristen, you grew up here. There was always bad stuff happening.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And now it has this wonderful anchor building on the end with Di Campli's, and folks are streaming there, going there. And yet you open this at the start of a pandemic.
Yes. So we actually, my wife and I, we start working on this project about 2 years ago, putting the dream on a paper. We start with a blank piece of paper and a pencil, and then we start to design like how we want to have this restaurant. And then we were looking for a location, and we were between being like in Waco Woodway area or downtown, but we loved to be like on the Woodway Waco area to work more with locals and build those relationship, and not just working with tourists, because I was, after traveling the world, I was a little bit tired of starting from zero again every time with relationship. I love to have friends around. I love to have people around, and also love to know them. And then I remember the realtor said, "Oh, we have actually a spot just open up. Let's go check it out." And soon we parked. I looked at the building and I was like, I mean, what are we supposed to do with this?
What?
And then he showed us the picture of the project,
Yes.
for the future project. And I was like, well, if it's going to look like this plaza is going to be beautiful. And they kept the promises. And we are so blessed, to be where we are, especially with the neighbor we have around, with all those different business we have. They are all locally owned and amazing people. Actually, the business we have next door to us, we find out one day that she lives on our neighborhood.
Oh.
So that shows you when, something is meant to be, it will happen, And yeah, we start working, and then we broke the ground. It was early December last year, and then COVID came in the world like around March.
Yeah.
And construction, they never stopped, and we were like, okay, what are we gonna do now? I mean, we gotta open anyway, and life is full of challenge, and this is another challenge which we gotta face and be positive. Of course, we gotta do what is right to protect the community around us. And it's restaurant industry, once again, is already a big challenge. Of course, this is another
on a regular day.
Yeah.
On a regular day it is.
But
Yeah.
I mean, right now, like I said, we just hoping, to make the right decision day by day, do what is right for our guests. Right now, we are allowed to be open at 75%, but by choice, we are still at 50, because we want to make sure that all our guests are comfortable to come in. And we want to make sure also our employees are being taken care of, where we do not do what's wrong for them or
Sure.
expose them, to something can happen.
Well, you have a lovely outdoor dining space that a lot of restaurants don't have the luxury of that. And so that's great too for your guests that, maybe want to be outside, want to be in the open air. Delicious food, was able to go there and absolutely rave about the service and how kind everybody is, and how you are made to feel like you're a member of the family. Well, let's talk a little bit about the food. What makes Di Campli's different than, say, a typical Italian restaurant?
Well, definitely.
If there is a typical Italian restaurant.
Well, we are. Well, first of all, I have to say that here in Waco there is few other restaurants that make really good food, following family recipe, and us, like those other few places, we are family owned. So when you're family owned, you care more about your guest compared when you just a franchise or a chain. Definitely, we are following Italian recipe. With the input of our chef. We want to make sure that our chef have like a green light to put their own input to the recipe, especially when we want to use ingredients that we can source around us. So I remember the first special we had on our dessert, the people were like looking at us like confusing. We made a jalapeno cheesecake, and because we wanted to use the jalapeno, and then a lot of love, a lot of passion. All our food is made from scratch, so
Even the pasta.
Yes, even pasta. And I think that's all the secret. We love what we do. That's what makes a big difference. You gotta love your job. You gotta love what you do, and restaurant industry is about serving people, and you gotta be and you need to have a big heart to do that. It's all about serving other people around you, because you don't know what story or what's going on the other side of the table, and you want to try to do your best to make maybe a bad day and make it positive, and look positivity, and make your guests to feel better. And you can do that through food, or through drink, or a glass of wine. So there is many factors can help us to achieve the accomplishment.
Start your wellness journey at Whole Foods Market, where it's Jumpstart January through the 16th. Stock up on supplements with some of the year's biggest savings. Plus, save on air-chilled organic boneless skinless chicken breasts, organic Honey Crisp apples, organic large Hass avocados, and more. And since Whole Foods Market is the only certified organic national grocer, it's easy to make them your wellness destination. Jumpstart your January now at Whole Foods Market.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Well, you have all the ingredients, as they say, for a successful business, and the folks need to, you want them to feel comfortable going out to eat and so forth. As you say, you're maintaining the 50% capacity. We're all looking forward to the day where no more masks and everybody can just, relax and be themselves without any worry. And that day is coming.
Yeah, we know it's coming. I mean, it's at this point, it's just a matter of time. We for sure we're going to celebrate that day where we gonna be able to take off our mask and give hugs to guests.
Sure.
and I think the virus. It's the sad thing about the virus is that it took away those beautiful connection between people. That's the sad thing about it. Like, not be able to seeing somebody in front of you that is actually smiling at you and
right,
able
yeah.
to make
I'm
you feel
smiling
better.
behind this mask.
Yes.
If you only knew.
And and
Yeah.
do like the regular routine. It kind of like took those connection away,
Yeah.
and that's the sad thing about it.
Yeah. Well, you can be cheered up if you make a reservation, though. I found that out because it's very popular. And you need to make your reservation if you want to go to Di Campli's for dinner. You serve, what are your hours during the day? You do lunch too?
Yes.
Okay.
We are open for lunch. We open at 11. During the week, Monday through Thursday, we open from 11 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then we reopen at 4, and the kitchen closes at 9. And then Friday and Saturday, we open from 11 to 10 without any break in the middle.
Okay, very good. Well, I'd love to end these visits with a questionnaire similar to the one the late, great James Lipton used to do on Inside the Actor's Studio. Does that ring a bell with you, Kristen? Anyway, it was just a little questionnaire. And so I'm going to ask you both, and you can just, pop in. What's your favorite word?
Love.
Say it in Italian.
Amore.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. My favorite word. Let's see. Happy.
Happy. Very good. What's your least favorite word?
Hate.
And in Italian?
Odio.
Oh, yeah, that does. Audio.
Yeah.
Audio.
It doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't.
No.
You kind of grimace when you say it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay, good.
No, I'm just kidding.
You don't like no. You've got an almost 3-year-old. You probably hear that a lot.
Mom, sometimes these days. Like, who is she? Is she here? Can you find her? My least favorite word is, let's see, maybe ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, emotionally?
Hey, you gotta have faith on God. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's everything in God's hands. Of course, we make our decision, but the path has already been written for us. So we gotta make sure we follow the path and have faith, have love, forget about hate, forget about anything that take people apart. And that's what drives me every day, every morning.
Yeah.
I have to agree. Faith and family. At the end of the day, it's the most important. It's why we're here and who we are, and we want to make everybody proud and always be together and always be supportive of everyone.
So what turns you off creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
Seeing other people like arguing over situation or things that are not really important in life. That's something that I feel that definitely traveling the world helped me to build who I am today, where means being respectful to the other person. Like I don't have like my friends, they are friends, regardless where they're from or their religion or anything that make them different than myself. I mean, that's the beauty of the world. I mean, the world is beautiful because it's different, and we gotta accept that and live with it. And so like that, we can be able to be like a better person.
Mm-hmm.
I think he always has the great answers. I think just negativity. I mean, when people are disrespectful and, it's just, he's opened my eyes a lot to see things that maybe I didn't see them the way before, just with all of his experience. So I think, just everybody just needs to be happy and do our best, right?
Right. What sound do you love the most?
I'm gonna make you laugh. The sound I used to love the most was the sound of the coffee machine in the morning.
That's a good one.
Because it's
probably the best cappuccino I ever had was in Italy. I mean, I cannot find a cup like that in the United States. Do you make cappuccino?
Well, I just drink straight espresso.
I figured that.
Yeah, and I actually have a small little machine that I've been having it for 5 years maybe, and makes the best coffee ever, even better than a restaurant itself.
Mm-hmm.
But the sound of coffee, it's the sound of another day being alive. So all right, we have another day ahead, and
I love
we
it.
can do good, and tomorrow will be another one again.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
My favorite sound would be ocean.
Yeah.
I like the waves. It's calm, relaxing, and it's so big and everything out there in the world.
Yeah. What is your least favorite sound?
When somebody is either yelling or screaming at me. So loud voice. And I am pretty loud, but in a good way. It's like screaming and argue. Like, I don't like those sounds.
Mm-hmm.
No.
The 2-year-old screaming in the middle of the night. I'll stay.
Okay, so what other profession would you have liked to try?
Well, I tried to change my profession when I was 24, and it lasted like a month, and then I went back to the restaurant. But I would love to be a real estate agent. Because it's not the same profession I'm having right now, but you still able to like confront yourself with other people and talk to other people and make them happy to find their dream home or I don't know, commercial. I don't know. I see myself doing that.
Yeah, I see you very much a people person. So yes, that would make sense. What about you, Kristen?
Anything with sports. I love sports. I wanted to do that when I was little. I wanted to be like a sports medicine doctor for the New York Giants. I mean, just random, but anything in sports, I really like that.
Okay, so what profession do you know you would not want to do?
I don't want to work in an office. I don't want to work in between like four wall and a computer. I need people around me. I need to feel free, and office is not my job.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant. I got this beautiful job in an office when I was 24 and beautiful salary. And then after a month, I quit. And my dad was like, oh, I know they're coming. My sister was a little bit disappointed because she thought that, I wasn't appreciating like a good opportunity, but it wasn't for me. So I rather have someone else, have it, that dream for it than me and just doing it because I have to. Like I said, you got to love what you do if you want to be the best at it.
Absolutely.
For me, it would be a teacher. I'm so thankful, grateful for all the teachers out there, but I don't have the patience, and so that's one I couldn't do. But there's so many amazing teachers, and I am very thankful for them.
Amen to that. I think a lot of parents
virtual school really
opened a lot of eyes.
Exactly.
I think. All right. One last question. What do you want to hear God say to you as you arrive at the pearly gates?
That I've been a good human being. I mean, we all make mistake. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect at all. I made mistake in the past, but at the same time, I have to say that I never did something wrong with the purpose of hurting the person next to me. So I hope that he is going to have good words for me by saying, yeah, you've been a good human being, even with your thousands of mistakes on top of you. But that's what I hope.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, good job. Good job, well and faithful servant.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Well, thank you both so much. We've got Kristen and Massimo Di Campli. And again, your restaurant is located?
6500 Woodway Drive, right out of the corner of Highway 6 and 84 behind Allen Samuel.
And I would recommend you make a phone call and get your reservation because it is well worth it. Thank you both so much for your time today. It's been a delight to get to know you better.
Well, thank you so much for having us. Thank you for the
having us.
opportunity. We really appreciate that.
Thank you for having us.
Central Texas Living is part of the Rogue Media Network family. Be sure to check out their other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Living, the podcast.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into KNOW Waco. I am your host, Debbie, here to help you get in the know about Waco. So you may be asking yourself, why am I here? I'm here to be your tour guide through Waco. I'm here to tell you all the goings-on in and around Waco. I'm going to give you the 411 on what's happening, what's going on, and what events you should go to. This is your host, Debbie, signing off. Now that you know, go. Just go, Waco.
You are going on a run.
Are you building a new business while managing a family? Are you tired of trying to balance home and work and everything seems to be coming up short? Then there's a podcast made just for you. Baking Your Business from Scratch is where we create the perfect recipe for building a successful business while managing your home and family with love. Come join us and see for yourself.
This has been Rogue Media Network Podcast.